My fellow Tropicans, I'm here to offer you the news in gaming entertainment. My name is Mac, and here at the MacGyver7 channel, we're going to go over Tropico 6 and their brand new update. This is going to have a new addition that's been added inside of here, and you can see I can scroll up here and stopping at the 1.07 where we're about to pick up. So let's go ahead and dive into the news, shall we? With just looking at the brief update of what they've had, the fellow Tropican update alert will be balancing certain portions of the update in the park deck. The corresponded pathfinding as the generational point of general improvements vastly improve, we're going to start seeing balancing changes, bug fixes, and many other DLCs that are stacked on top of this. So this may be a turning point where we start to see things better in Tropico, a little bit more easier. But let's check out the improvements, shall we? And those improvements start with a pirate's attack. Looking at the situation right over here that we have the page pulled up, there is now a chance of pirate attacks during the colonial era to the military. In this era is more meaningful. So now if you want to go ahead and kick back another play of the Tropico 6, you're going to get a little bit more of added feed into that play. And that's nice. That means they're adding more content. That's always cool for a game. With pulling this up directly, you can see that the community feedback in overcrowded parking decks, there is now a sign to visibly show that the parking deck is overcrowded. In addition, the pathfinding logic has been changed, so Tropico and Tropicans will be less likely to use overcrowded parking. They finally have some direction. Looking at the balances that follow right after that, there's a large beautification in objects. Parks, squares, and statues have larger impacts per tile now as they are harder to find for spaces. That was one thing I did definitely experience a ton of in that game, where I was just like, what's going on? Just like my screen over there going all crazy when it should be right over there, but whatevs. Going back to the news, you start looking at the portions of what has started in the main game with the winning and loss, and the reasons, i.e. on the screen messages, have been removed for single player mode. So you will no longer see that. And IE's, for example, just a shorter way of saying it. But putting past that, you can see that the list improves a lot as the situations was not unlocked inside of that manic portion of what you've had before inside of the traits. That would have been heromatic to me. Looking onto that situation as it fixed the road placements could lead to strange results. Glitches into mountains, inside of water, not being built, you have to destroy stuff, and so on. I'm glad they paid attention to that because that was something that was very, well, just not fun to play with. And the option pause during the construction now also affects the road placements. Fixed the issue where the loading tutorial and save games changed the era to the colonial era. That would suck. I laugh because that never happened to me, but for someone that did happen to me, they're probably like, that's not funny. I'm sorry. Moving on to the next fix though, where the duplication buildings showed incorrect statues and statuses for the information that would stat above. Looking at the military buildings where still sending troops even after changing the construction to the pacified state. Wow, they are just some rambunctious fools. Looking at the issues at the airport that showed the active metro signs without upgrade. The issues with fishing and the ground overlay, that has been fixed and showing the incorrect information, now showing the correct information. Fertile overlays for as far as showing misinformation in that situation for as far as growth and farms now have been fixed, and the occasional where gamers showed the wrong win and losing messages. The fixed issue past that portion where the complete portion of the conditions were exactly met for the 6969 beauty. Looking at the fixed placement of the issues where they've had the possible place to house but not one for the bunker house. Both of the belongings inside the station of the terrific stations now show correct staffing information, which is great. You want to have that staffed. As far as the botanical garden, work mode, private garden, no longer accidentally increase service quality. Man, that might have been an issue in mine. Anyways, moving on, I was like, wait a minute, I always had that issue and never really paid attention to it, but because I was always dealing with like the rebels. Looking at the ambassador, sorry, I laugh because those treacherous rebels. The ambassador now shows the feedback when the players is not able to invite the nation due to the insufficient standing. Looking at the stack lands, the fixed a case where the task, a few good men, could trigger twice. Airport and tourism in the ports now show the correct passengers and the information. Multiplayer fixes now flood the portion before we get down to the Llamas Wall Street DLC and the situation of what that might entail right down below in fixes. We look down to the situation as we see the El Presidente, now in the position, was in the wrong after relocation in the plaza. Several crashes, graphic fixes, especially when customizing in the menu, audio glitches and location issues now have been addressed. And then we're just going to kind of scroll down. You can see it's basically the same exact situation. Sometimes I check both of these because I like that they sometimes will put an extra line of code where they're saying, hey, by the way, we fixed this too. But I'm also going to scroll this for most people. Maybe it might be a little bit easier to read because PlayStation does a really good job. And dear gosh, this is pretty much quote for quote. So everyone, as we read the last portion of the DLC, the multiplayer general exports in that situation, and the prices are now influenced by other players' exports as well. Been there, done that. The achievement does not get triggered after completing the Llama of the Wall Street anymore. For as far as the situation in the Feliz Navidad has been released inside of the situation of 1.06, but that's not this patch because that's the end of 1.07 and Tropico 6. So everyone, if you had a fun time, you can like, share, and subscribe. Helps me absolutely free as a creator. All my content is yours to watch. At that point in time, if you do, who knows, maybe, just maybe, Goku, yes, the emblem that I wear right here, might just encourage Krillin to dye his hair blonde. That would be funny. I would laugh so hard if he was like a little mini Saiyan. That'd be so cool. Like, he'd be the strongest human Saiyan ever, but it doesn't exist. Anyways, everyone, you have a fun time and out there in the world, and I am going to have a fun time here recording cool stuff for you guys and gals in the near future. See you later.